Welcome to Distributed Generation and Microgrids lecture number 9 in unit number 1. So till now we discussed about in last session we discussed about what are the IEEE standards for the grid integrated DZs, what are the different type of series of IEEE 1547 standards. Now just we left over one topic related to that, significance of DZ, distributed generation. So significance, the first one is increase in load growth and reduction of fossil fuel when using the DZs. Next one is the nearness of load and source, it reduces the T&D losses. Already we discussed that the distributed generation means we are locating at near to the user side, and it's locating in a distribution channel also. So it's near to the loads, the source and load is near, so there is reduction of T&D losses is there. Next one is standalone and grid connected systems can be used for expansion and enhance the improving power quality and reliability of the system. When we are using DZs, distributed generations, the user have a more chances to connect, get a power from either from the main grid or the regional located DZs. So he will get a quality of power and reliability of supply also. It's very good. Like instead of one supply, we have a multiple options will be there. If his main grid is failure, then he can take the local DZ or somewhere nearer DZ or any other DZ. So there is you will get a uninterrupted power and quality of power also is good. These points also already we discussed about throughout importance of the DZ or different characteristics of DERs, and it give a customer to more choices to the customer can choose either he can take from nearer located, if he is located 10 more DZs are there, so he can take any one of that, or either he can go for grid side also. He can take a decision based on economical, like the per unit cost. If the nearer the grid, nearer my DZ is giving less price of unit, so he can choose that one, or he can go for the grid also. So another is efficiency of the system can be improved by using CHP and cogeneration and trigeneration. So the efficiency of the system, so what input and what output, like what input we are getting from the source, and what extent we are reaching to the loads, that efficiency is improved. Why? Because by using the uh, locally located DZs, like either CHPs or cogenerative or trigeneration. These are the sum of significance of the DZs. Next we are moving to the next topic is the leftover topics, the grid code and islanding and anti-islanding. Already we discussed about what is the grid and how it works, what is the difference between the centralized generation and distributed generation. So now move to the what is islanding. So here this is the definition. The islanding, so the islanding, a condition in which a portion of electrical power systems EPS is energized exclusively by one or more local EPS through the associated PCs, while that portion of EPS is electrically separated from the rest of the area of EPS. That means, so once if you your the area of EPS is there, that means locally the DZs and which is connected to grid, and locally DZ with the loads and everything. Just see this one. In this, so if you take this one, this is the one power system network. This is the grid. This is the main utility grid. Then this is the PCC, point of common coupling. So what islanding means, a condition which a portion of area electrical power systems, that means the area EPS is energized exclusively by one or more local EPS. Here you can see what are the local EPS are available. Either you can take, this is the one of the EPS, like this is the one DZ. Here we have another DZ. Here also we have a storage system is there. This is one more DZ is available. Here also one DZ is available. Either you can take it from the electrical vehicle also, the power. These are the loads, power electronic loads are there. So this is the two types of storage systems are available. So if what is that? The area of electrical power system, area EPS is energized exclusively one or more local EPS through the associated with the PCC. So here the grid is connected to the localizer system throughout the system with connection of different loads and DCs with at a PCC point. So this whole part is energized by the local sources. The whole part is energized from the local sources. Once if energized, and it is electrically separated from the other area of EPS. This we can say is another EPS, that means electrical power system. If this part is separated from the main grid, then we can say this is the islanding. Though this is in islanding mode, that means this whole part, in that we have a one or more EPS are there, area EPS is there. That means we have the sources, the DCs and the loads and everything is there. So this is energized by the local EPS and it's separated from the other EPS. If it's electrically separated from the other EPS, then we can say this is islanded. This is the islanding. This is islanding. That means it's not connected to grid, but it's in a functioning. It is in functioning. That means the electrical supply is there from the from the local loads, from the local generation, local DCs. So it is energized by the local EPS, local one or more EPS, but it is disconnected from the grid. This is called islanding. Okay. So we will see one more example here. So just take this network. Here we have a source. Either we can say this is the grid point. Here this is some PCC 1. Here we can say another PCC 2. Here in this whole power system network, I have two possibilities to get two different parts of islanding. That means here if you see this part, this is a smaller one. Here this whole EPS electrical power system, the small electrical power system is energizing by the local DC or local source. It's energizing from the local source. So this whole is energizing. It can islanding from the remaining circuit. This is the remaining EPS or remaining area EPSs. So this part is energized by this, and it is islanded by the remaining from the grid. It's islanded from the grid. That is the one chance. So one more is, here you can take this whole part, this one. So this whole part is energizing by this two and this one. We have a three different source options is there. So this main EPS area EPS electrical power system is energized by the different loads. This is the 1 and 2. Energized by the different generations, local generation 1 and 2 and 3, and it is islanded. This is energized by these three sources, and this islanded from the grid. Okay, in this power system network, or in this EPSs, I am taking this as a grid point. From grid point to we have a different loads and local DCs are there. So here two possibilities of islanding is there. Two sections is there. One is this smaller part. That means in that if this is islanded means that energized by the local EPSs. If only loads are there, that we can't call it as that is islanding section. If only loads are there, only if only loads is there in this that particular section, if you that is we can't call it as islanding. Here you can see in this example, in this smaller islanding condition, this is energized by this source, and it is islanded from the it is disconnected from the main grid. It's disconnected from the main grid. Here same way the another islanding condition is there. This is the whole this whole EPS part. EPS 1, you can say this is electrical power system 1. It is energizing by this whole network is energizing by either this source, or this source, and it's disconnected from the grid. That means this whole part is islanded. Here we have a two sections of islanding, the main section of islanding 1 and second section of islanding 2. So this is the how the islanding the EPS is islanded from the main grid. So the basic point is, for islanding condition, it must be that EPS is energized from the available local EPS. The whole network is energized from the local EPS, then it can disconnect from the grid. That we can call it as a islanding condition. So next, move for the next. What are the different islanding effects? The islanding effects means we call it as like islanding means what we said, it is disconnecting from the main grid, but local source it energizing from the local sources, but it's sudden disconnecting, it affects the danger to the maintenance and restoration staff. If suddenly the particular EPS, the particular section is disconnected from the main grid, it affects the danger to the maintenance and the restoration staff, and it damages at the both customer and utility side equipment also. If the sudden islanding condition, that means it damages the customer side equipment, the same way utility side equipment also. That means the grid side equipment, the same way as load side equipment also. The power quality of DC becomes worsen and adversely affect the loads. So the power quality decreases a sudden islanding condition. In sudden islanding condition, the power quality is reduces and it go into worse condition, and it affects the loads also. And the automatic closing of utility breaker may create a condition of asynchronous closure. That means when it's disconnecting from it's going to the particular EPS is going to the electrical power system, is going to the islanding condition, sudden islanding condition, it's disconnecting from the grid. That means the automatic closing of utility breaker may create a condition of asynchronous closure. It's act like it must be synchronous closure, but in this unexpected islanding condition, sudden islanding condition, because of that it acts as a asynchronous closures. These are the sum of effects because of sudden islanding condition. To detect this islanding condition, we have a different methods are there. First we have to be clarity about what is islanding. It's simple as the particular EPS is disconnected from the grid, and the additional point is that particular disconnected part is energized by the local EPS. The particular section is disconnected from the grid, that part is energized by the local EPS or local source. That is islanding. So it must affect the remaining part of the grid also. If sudden islanding, it's caused to the one is the equipment of the grid side, it's also damaged, and the load side also it damages. So coming to what is the anti-islanding? Like now we discussed what is islanding. So now what is anti-islanding? So in this, the DC must detect islanding and immediately disconnect from the circuit. It is referred to as anti-islanding. That means the particular DC must detect the islanding, must detect the islanding condition, and immediately disconnect from the particular circuit. So that we can call it as anti-islanding. So here a grid-tied solar power system is required by the law to having a grid tie inverter with anti-islanding function. So the grid tied the PV system, the must have a inverter with a anti-islanding functioning. So that particular inverter have a functioning of anti-islanding function, which sense when a power outage occurs and shuts itself off. That means when it's the grid is failure, or the particular your section is islanding, it's going to the grid going to the islanding condition. At the time the power outage will be there, from grid side we will not get any power. So at the time what have to do, that PV system, the grid tied PV system, it must the grid tied PV system inverter, it must have a function of anti-islanding function, and it sends when the power outage occurs, it shuts itself off. That means the PV system closes, it will not give a power to the grid, and it will not operate also. That functioning it will be there. So we have a different techniques of anti-islanding techniques. In that active techniques introduce intentional changes or disturbances into the connected circuit and there observe the responses. In active technique means we will give some changes and disturbance to the particular circuit, the circuit meant to for the system, and we will observe what is the responses, how it respond once you are giving some change or some disturbance to the particular total whole network, then how whole circuit, then what is the response of different things. Accordingly we will take that particular active islanding technique. We will see what are the different type of active islanding techniques. Same way, passive techniques are based on measuring of instantaneous voltage and frequency and phase detection at PCC. The passive techniques are we measure some parameters at PCC level, PCC point. From that we will decide either it's an the particular DC or the system is going to islanding condition or not. See here some of IDT, islanding detection techniques. So here we have two types, local methods and remote methods. In local methods we have active and passive methods. In active method we have inverter based generation and rotating based generation. In passive methods we have a conventional passive and modified passive. And in inverter base, external signal injection, one method. Another is enhanced actively and reactive power reference, second method. And inverter DC link voltage. Already I told you active detection methods. In active detection methods we have two types. Active detection methods, what I told, active detection method means we will introduce some disturbance or change to the system, and we will see how it responds. Accordingly we will decide that islanding is happened or not. So in this inverter based generation is, we will give an external signal, we will inject some external signal, then we will check it out in this method. And in second method we will enhance the active and reactive power references. We will increase the active power and reactive power references values, then accordingly we will see the response. Accordingly this method will work. Another one is inverter DC link voltage, like we will check it on how the DC link voltage is responding for our disturbances. These are the three types. For the rotating based generation, in this impedance measurement, we will check out how the impedance of the particular whole network, how it changing when you introducing some of the disturbance. And active frequency drift, AFD, this is another method. Another is SFS, that means Sandila frequency shifts, how the frequency shifts, based on also we can detect the islanding. Then auto phase shift, this is another method. This is another method for the active method. These are the 7 methods for the active islanding detecting methods. Passive methods, in the passive methods, conventional passive, already I told you we will measure some of the parameters at the PCC level, PCC point. So we will measure those parameters. Accordingly we can say this is islanding or non-islanding condition. Like in the conventional passive, over and under voltage protection, over and under frequency protection, and impedance detection, and the rate of change of active power and frequency. That means we will we have to measure the um, voltage or frequency or active power at the PCC point. Then we will decide which type of like it's going to islanding or not. So these are the four different passive methods. Same way modified passive. In modified passive, that means the advanced passive methods. Fourier transform based one is one method. That means Fourier transform based. We will see the what type of parameters you measured. From that we go for the Fourier transformation. Then we can decide. That is one type. Another is wavelet transform based. From the this is another method, wavelet transform based, and S transform based. Fourth one is auto correlation function based and Kalman filter based. These are the modified passive. These five types are modified passive methods for islanding detecting techniques. Now we see the remote methods. In remote methods means from the far end we have to judge the particular the system is in islanding condition or not. Like remote method means three types: communication based methods, signal process based methods, intelligence based methods. Communication based method means in that we have it three types: power line communication and transfer trip. Third one is supervisory control and data acquisition. So by using this communication based methods also we can detect the islanding. Signal processing methods, based on methods we have four types: time domain, frequency domain, time frequency domain, and pattern recognition. These are these methods on signal processing based methods. From this also we can detect it. Intelligence based methods, this means advanced ones: artificial neural network based, decision tree, and probabilistic neural network based, and support vector mission, and fuzzy logic. Based on these methods also we can detect the island. These are the whole picture of islanding detection techniques. There are two types: local methods and remote. Mainly are active methods and passive methods, and communication based methods, and signal processing methods, and intelligence based methods. In active methods, these are the seven types. Will come active methods, and passive methods means we have to measure the particular parameters: voltage, frequency, or active power, reactive power, those things at the point of PCC. Then we will decide it. Active methods means we are injecting, or we are introducing some of disturbance or changes. Then we will see the observe the response. Accordingly we can detect the islanding. The next is active islanding detection. We will give us some overview of what is active islanding detection. The active islanding techniques directly regulate the DC output, measures variation of the DC output, and decide whether the DC is operating in islanding or normal condition. Already I told you active islanding methods. First we have to give some disturbance, and we can observe or change or disturbance, anything. Either we can introduce some change or some disturbance, then we will observe the response. Here the active islanding technique is directly regulate the DC output. What is the DC output? Then measures variation of DC output and decide based on the DC output how it's varying. Either based on the variation of the DC. Here we are we are detecting the islanding of the DC is operating in islanding condition or normal condition. So based on the variation of the DC output, we will decide either that particular DC is operating in islanding condition and non-islanding condition. So by the technique of constantly sending a signal back and forth between the DC and the grid. So we are here we are, how can we see the DC output is changed or not? We are at a grid side, we are at a grid end, and we don't know what is the DC output at the distribution side, distributed generation output. It's increased or decreased, or it's running or not. How can we can decide the signal back and forth between the DC and grid? We are sending some signal from the DC to grid. Based on it, we can check it out. Despite of their effectiveness in detecting islanding operation of the DC, these active techniques need to continuously vary the DC output may negatively affect the operation of DC and utility system. Here, here we are checking through the variation of the DC output. It gives a negative effect on, it gives a negative effect on operation of DC and utility system also. How it will, like despite of their effectiveness in detecting a landing operation of the DC, these active techniques need to continuously vary the DC output. By varying the DC output, we are judging either this is that particular DC in islanding condition or non-islanding condition. But here we have some drawback, or some issue is there, may negatively affect the operation of the DC and the utility system. Because of this type of this type of operation, it may affect negatively to the DC and utility system also. That means grid also. And passive islanding detection. Passive islanding detection means, already I told you, we have to measure some of the parameters at a point of PCC. The passive techniques detect the islanding operation of the DC by monitoring the system parameters. What type of parameters? Voltage and phase displacement, rate of change in frequency. We will measure what is the rate of change of frequency at PCC, or what is the voltage magnitude, what is the phase displacement. Based on it, it will detect the islanding. That's called a passive islanding. So although they don't influence the operation and management of the utility power system, so when you are measuring some parameters at PCC, it will not influence the operation of the utility power system also. Just we are measuring at that point, and we will deciding either it's in islanding condition or not. That's it. But they have a difficulty in finding out islanding condition when the load power matches to the source after the islanding. So we have a difficulty here. What is the difficulty? They have a difficulty in finding the islanding. So in this condition, when the load power matches to the source, in that condition, it's unable to detect that it's an islanding condition or non-islanding condition. That is the issue.